Welcome to Laboratory of Dreams.
Hello and welcome to the Lab of Dreams channel, a place where imagination and wonder come alive under the stars. Tonight, we have a special journey prepared just for you, a journey through the enchanting tale of the Lighthouse of Echo Bay. As you settle in, we invite you to let go of the day's worries and join us on an adventure filled with mystery, courage, and the warmth of community. Whether you're snuggled up in bed or relaxing in your favorite chair, this story is sure to stir your imagination and soothe your spirit. So get comfortable, let your heart be light, and prepare to embark on a journey to Echo Bay, a quaint town with a story waiting just for you. Welcome, dream travelers, to another wonderful adventure here at the Lab of Dreams. In the heart of a bustling city, filled with the never-ending hum of cars and the bright glow of neon lights, lived a boy named Sam. Sam was like any other teenager in the city, with dreams as tall as the skyscrapers and a curiosity as deep as the subways. His life was a canvas of loud music, crowded streets, and of buildings that seemed to touch the sky. But one day, everything changed. Sam's parents announced they were moving to Echo Bay, a name that sounded like a whisper of a far-off dream. Compared to the roar of the city, they said it was for a quieter life, for a new beginning. Sam, with a heart heavy as lead, could only nod. The city was all he knew, its rhythm was the beat of his life. The journey to Echo Bay was a mosaic of changing landscapes. The tall buildings shrank into small houses, the noisy streets into quiet lanes, and the bright city lights into a canopy of stars. When they finally arrived, Sam felt like he had stepped into another world. Echo Bay was a quaint town, cradled by the sea and watched over by a towering lighthouse perched on the cliffs like a guardian. Their new home was a cozy cottage with creaking wooden floors and windows that looked out to the sea. It was beautiful, but to Sam it felt like a puzzle where he didn't fit. He missed the city's cacophony, which was replaced by the sound of waves and the occasional cry of seagulls. Each night, Sam found himself drawn to his window, where he could see the lighthouse standing tall against the starlit sky. Its light was a rhythmic pulse, steady and sure, a stark contrast to the flickering neon he was used to. He often wondered about the stories it could tell, about the ships it guided and the storms it had witnessed. In those first few weeks, Sam wandered the streets of Echo Bay, each step an echo of his longing for the city. The town had its charms, with its cobblestone paths, small cafes, and friendly faces, but to him, it felt like walking through the pages of a storybook, beautiful but unreal. As the days passed, the sea's endless horizon began to feel less like a boundary and more like an invitation to explore. The town, with its slow pace, started to reveal its secrets, the hidden coves, the laughter of children playing by the shore, and the old tales told by the locals. But the true adventure began on a sunny afternoon, when, by the serendipity of fate, Sam's path crossed with Lily, a girl with a smile that seemed to reflect the very essence of Echo Bay. It was an encounter that would soon lead him to the heart of the town's mystery and wonder, the old lighthouse and its keeper, Mr. Dawson. It was in that moment, under the warm sun and the gentle sea breeze, that the pieces of Sam's new life in Echo Bay began to fall into place, like the turning of a tide, signaling the start of a journey beyond anything he had ever imagined. On a day when the sun shone bright and the seagulls sang louder than usual, Sam found himself walking along the sandy shores of Echo Bay. The beach was a tapestry of golden sands, scattered shells, and the rhythmic dance of the waves. He watched as the children built sand castles, their laughter mingling with the sea breeze. It was a picture of tranquility, but Sam's heart still echoed with the distant drum of the city. As he strolled, lost in his thoughts, a voice called out to him, "Hey, you're new here, aren't you?" Startled, Sam turned to see a girl about his age, her hair the color of the sun-kissed sand, eyes sparkling with curiosity. She was Lily, a native of Echo Bay, whose family had lived there for generations. Her voice had the melody of the town itself, warm and inviting. Lily's smile was infectious, and for the first time since arriving in Echo Bay, Sam felt a genuine urge to smile back. They walked along the beach, talking about everything and nothing. Lily spoke of Echo Bay with such love and enthusiasm that Sam couldn't help but be drawn in. She told him about the local festivals, the secret spots only the locals knew, and most intriguingly about the old lighthouse and its keeper, Mr. Dawson. Mr. Dawson was a figure shrouded in mystery and respect, an elderly man with a beard as white as the foam on the waves and eyes that held stories deeper than the ocean. He had been the lighthouse keeper for as long as anyone in Echo Bay could remember. Lily's eyes gleamed with excitement as she spoke of him, insisting that Sam meet this remarkable man. Together, they made their way to the lighthouse, a structure that seemed to grow more majestic with every step closer. It stood on the cliff's edge, a sentinel watching over the bay, its walls weathered by time and the sea's salty kiss. The door to the lighthouse was open, as if inviting them into another world. Inside, they were greeted by the scent of old books and the sea. The walls were lined with photographs and nautical charts, each telling a tale of the sea. And there, sitting at a desk cluttered with maps and a flickering oil lamp, was Mr. Dawson. His gaze was as sharp as it was kind, and his voice was like a gentle wave as he welcomed them. Mr. Dawson listened intently as Lily introduced Sam, his eyes twinkling with a mix of curiosity and wisdom. He invited them to sit, and as they did, he began to share stories of Echo Bay, tales of great storms, brave sailors, and, most fascinating of all, legends that swirled around the lighthouse itself. Each word painted a vivid picture in Sam's mind, a mosaic of adventure and mystery. As the afternoon sun began to dip into the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Sam realized that Echo Bay was more than just a town. It was a place alive with stories, memories, and a magic all its own. And for the first time since leaving the city, he felt a flicker of excitement, a sense of wonder at the possibilities that lay ahead. Lily's friendship and Mr. Dawson's tales had opened a door to a new world for Sam, a world he was now eager to explore. As they left the lighthouse, the setting sun cast a golden glow over the town, and Sam looked back at the towering structure with new eyes. It wasn't just a building, it was a beacon of stories, guiding him to his next adventure in Echo Bay. The next day, under a sky as clear as crystal, Sam found himself standing at the foot of the lighthouse, gazing up at its towering form. The sea breeze carried a hint of salt and adventure. Today was the day he and Lily were to explore the inside of the lighthouse, guided by Mr. Dawson himself. The thought sent a flutter of excitement through Sam's heart, a feeling that was both new and exhilarating. As they entered the lighthouse, a sense of awe washed over Sam. The interior was like stepping into another era. The walls were lined with aged brass instruments and shelves filled with maritime books, their spines worn from years of use. Every item in the lighthouse told a story, from the faded sea charts to the antique telescope pointed towards the horizon. Mr. Dawson led them up the narrow spiral staircase that wound its way to the top. With each step, the old wood creaked, echoing through the hollow tower. Sam's hand trailed along the cool stone wall, feeling the grooves and textures that spoke of age and the passage of time. As they ascended, Mr. Dawson shared stories about the lighthouse. He spoke of the countless nights he had spent watching over the bay, guiding sailors safely home with the lighthouse's beam. He told them about the great storms that had battered the coast, how the lighthouse had stood firm, a beacon of hope in the howling wind and rain. "The lighthouse is more than just a structure," Mr. Dawson said, his voice echoing softly. "It's a symbol of safety, a guardian of the sea, and some say, on certain magical nights, it becomes something even more." Sam and Lily listened, captivated by his words. They reached the top of the lighthouse, where a large circular room housed the powerful light that had guided so many. The view from the top was breathtaking. The entire bay stretched out before them, a vast canvas of blue, dotted with boats and fringed by the town. Mr. Dawson showed them the workings of the light, the intricate machinery that had been maintained and cared for over decades. He explained how the light worked, its beam strong enough to reach miles into the sea. Sam was fascinated by the mechanics of it, while Lily was drawn to the stories and legends that seemed to linger in the very air they breathed. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in fiery hues, Mr. Dawson shared the most intriguing legend of all. They say that on certain nights, when the stars align just right, the lighthouse's light can reach beyond the sea to other places, other times. Some believe it can even show you your heart's deepest desire. Sam looked out at the horizon where the sea met the sky and wondered if such magical nights truly existed. The idea seemed like something out of a fairy tale, yet here in the lighthouse, with the old tales echoing in his ears, anything seemed possible. The descent back down was quiet, each of them lost in their thoughts, the stories swirling in their minds like the sea's waves. As they stepped out of the lighthouse, the first stars of the evening twinkled in the sky, and Sam felt a deep connection to this place, to its stories and its magic. That evening, as he lay in bed, Sam's mind drifted back to the lighthouse, to its tales and mysteries. He realized that Echo Bay, with its blend of history and legend, had begun to weave its magic around him. He fell asleep to the sound of the waves, dreaming of lights that reached across the sea and time, filling a sense of belonging he hadn't known he was seeking. As autumn whispered its way into Echo Bay, the air grew crisp and the sea turned a deeper shade of blue. The town, always picturesque, took on a golden hue as leaves changed color. But amidst this beauty, a sense of anticipation hung in the air, the kind that precedes an inevitable change. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones about a great storm brewing in the distance, one that promised to be more fierce than any they had seen in years. Sam, who had never experienced the full might of a coastal storm, felt a mix of apprehension and curiosity. He watched as the townspeople prepared, boarding up windows and securing boats. The once lively streets of Echo Bay grew quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling preparations. One evening, as the sky began to brood with dark clouds, Sam visited the lighthouse. He found Mr. Dawson in his usual spot, looking out to sea with a contemplative gaze. "Storm's coming," Mr. Dawson said, his voice carrying the weight of experience. "It'll be a big one. The lighthouse will have its work cut out for it." Sam thought about the stories Mr. Dawson had shared, about how the lighthouse had been a guardian through countless storms. "Can I help?" he asked, surprising even himself with his eagerness to be a part of it. Mr. Dawson looked at him, a small smile playing on his lips. "I'd appreciate that, Sam. A lighthouse keeper can always use an extra pair of hands during a storm." The day before the storm was set to arrive, The air was charged with electricity. Sam helped Mr. Dawson with the final preparations, checking the light, securing the doors, and making sure they had enough supplies. As they worked, Lily joined them, her presence a comforting constant in the face of the unknown. That night, as Sam lay in bed, the first tastes of wind began to howl, a prelude to the tempest that was to come. He thought about the lighthouse, standing tall and steadfast on the cliffs. It was more than just a building now. It was a symbol of resilience, a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. The morning dawned grey and ominous. The wind screamed like a banshee, and the sea churned with an angry ferocity. Sam, Lily, and Mr. Dawson gathered in the lighthouse, watching as the storm unleashed its fury on Echo Bay. The rain lashed against the windows, and the thunder rolled like the drumming of a giant. As the day turned into night, the storm showed no signs of abating. Inside the lighthouse, the trio kept vigil, ensuring the light continued to shine. Mr. Dawson shared stories to keep their spirits up, tales of storms from the past and the brave souls who had weathered them. Sam felt a bond forming between them, forged in the heart of the storm. They were more than just companions. They were a team, each playing a crucial role in keeping the light alive. It was in these moments, with the storm raging around them, that Sam realized he was part of something bigger than himself. Part of the story of Echo Bay, part of its legacy. The night wore on, and the storm reached its peak. The lighthouse stood as a solitary sentinel against the fury of the elements, its light a steadfast promise of safety and hope. Alone, standing beside Mr. Dawson and Lily, felt a sense of pride and belonging. He was no longer the outsider looking in. He was a keeper of the light, a guardian of Echo Bay. As darkness fell over Echo Bay, the storm's wrath intensified, transforming the night into a tempestuous symphony of wind and rain. The lighthouse, a steadfast guardian against the relentless assault, stood firm, its light piercing the gloom with a rhythmic pulse. Inside, Sam, Lily, and Mr. Dawson braced themselves against the fury that raged outside. The lighthouse was a beacon of calm in the chaos. The thick stone walls muffled the storm's roar, and the warm glow of the lanterns cast a comforting light. But amidst this tranquility, an undercurrent of tension ran deep. The responsibility of keeping the light shining was a heavy weight on their shoulders, a reminder of the lives that depended on its guidance. As the night wore on, the storm's power showed no signs of waning. The sea churned violently, sending waves crashing against the cliffs with thunderous force. Sam watched in awe and apprehension from the lighthouse's windows, the tempest outside both terrifying and mesmerizing. Then, without warning, disaster struck. A particularly vicious gust of wind rattled the lighthouse, and the light flickered ominously. Sam's heart skipped a beat. The light was the heart of the lighthouse, its beacon a symbol of hope and safety. If it went out, boats out at sea would be in grave danger. Mr. Dawson sprang into action, his years of experience evident in his swift movements. "The generator's been hit," he shouted over the howl of the wind. "We need to get it back up and running." Sam and Lily followed Mr. Dawson down the spiraling staircase to the heart of the lighthouse. The generator room was a cacophony of clanking metal and hissing steam. The generator, a robust old machine that had weathered many storms, had succumbed to the night's ferocity. With Mr. Dawson's guidance, Sam and Lily worked frantically to repair the damage. Sam's hands, though unaccustomed to such work, moved with a determination fueled by the urgency of the situation. Lily, with her quick thinking and dexterity, was a natural, her actions complementing Sam's efforts. Together they battled against time and the elements, their efforts a dance of teamwork and resolve. The task was daunting, the machinery complex, but the thought of the sailors out at sea, relying on the light, spurred them on. After what seemed like an eternity, with a final twist of a wrench and a collective hold of breath, the generator sputtered back to life. The light, dimmed for what had felt like an agonizing eternity, resumed its steady pulse, once again a guiding star in the storm's darkness. Exhausted but elated, Sam, Lily and Mr. Dawson made their way back to the top of the lighthouse. They stood together, a triumphant trio, watching as the light cut through the night. In that moment, Sam realized the true strength of the lighthouse. It wasn't just in its sturdy walls or bright light, it was in the people who kept it shining against all odds. The storm continued to rage outside, but inside the lighthouse, there was a sense of victory and unity. Sam had faced one of the greatest challenges of his life and emerged stronger for it. He had found his place in Echo Bay, not as an outsider, but as a vital part of its heart and soul. As dawn broke over Echo Bay, the storm finally began to subside. The fierce winds calmed, and the tumultuous sea quieted to gentle waves lapping at the shore. In the aftermath, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the parting clouds, casting a golden light over the town. Sam, Lily and Mr. Dawson emerged from the lighthouse, weary but filled with a sense of accomplishment. They looked out at Echo Bay, which had weathered the storm with a resilient spirit. Houses had stood strong, and the boats, secured tightly during the preparations, bobbed peacefully in the harbor. The town slowly came to life as people ventured outside, surveying the aftermath and beginning the process of cleaning up. There was a sense of community stronger than ever before, with neighbors helping neighbors, sharing stories of the night and expressing gratitude that the storm had passed. Sam felt a deep connection to Echo Bay now. The storm had not only tested the town's strength, but had also revealed the depth of its unity and compassion. He had played a part in keeping the lighthouse shining, a beacon of hope in the storm's darkest moments. Throughout the day, townspeople approached the lighthouse to thank Mr. Dawson, Lily, and Sam. Their bravery had not gone unnoticed, and Sam felt a warm glow of pride and belonging. He had found more than just a new home in Echo Bay. He had found a place where he mattered, where he had made a difference. In the days that followed, Sam's life in Echo Bay took on a new rhythm, one that resonated with the heartbeat of the town. He spent more time with Lily, exploring the nooks and crannies of the bay and learning more about its history and people. His evenings were often spent in the lighthouse, listening to Mr. Dawson's tales, now not just as stories, but as a part of his own experience. The lighthouse, once a symbol of mystery and isolation for Sam, had become a symbol of strength and unity. It stood not just as a guardian of the sea, but as a reminder of that night when a storm had brought a community together and shown a young boy the true meaning of belonging. As Sam looked out at the sea from the top of the lighthouse, he realized that every end is a new beginning. The storm had passed, leaving behind a clearer sky and a stronger bond between him and Echo Bay. He'd found a new adventure, not in the distant horizons, but right here in the heart of this small coastal town. And so our story comes to a close, with the lighthouse of Echo Bay shining brighter than ever, a beacon of hope, resilience, and new beginnings. Sam's journey had started with a move to a new town, but it had led him to discover a new family, a new purpose, and a new place to call home. As our tale of the Lighthouse of Echo Bay comes to a close, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of you, our dear listeners and dream travelers, for joining us on this enchanting journey. Together, we've witnessed the magic of Echo Bay, the courage of Sam, and the unyielding strength of a community. Now, as we bid farewell to our story's characters, we invite you to stay with us a little longer. Let the soothing sounds that follow guide you gently to the land of dreams. Whether it's the soft lull of ocean waves, the gentle hum of a distant lighthouse, or the serene whispers of the night wind, These calming sounds are here to lead you into a peaceful slumber. So, close your eyes, relax, and let these tranquil melodies transport you to a world of restful dreams. Thank you once again for being part of this journey at the Lab of Dreams. Until our next adventure, we wish you sweet dreams and a restful night.